she says that she suffered from anorexia after being weighed as a pupil, and she's hit out after her 4-year-old son was branded overweight by his school. Now, it's obviously got some strong emotions here in the audience, Jane, but what do you think?
Well, it's a weird one because if I didn't want my son to be affected by it, I probably wouldn't go to the newspapers and make it massively public. That would be the first thing.
Exactly.
Clearly, he's not overweight. It's an issue in this country because we have a massive problem with child obesity, and we're constantly going on at the government and saying, look, you've got to get to grips with this. I mean, it's catastrophic for the NHS. It costs us millions, and it's going to get worse and worse and worse with type 2 diabetes. And yet, every time they try and do something about it, we shoot them down in flames that way. Now, the majority of children, their parents are on top of their diet, etc., etc. But what about the few that aren't? And you can see them at school. You can see the ones who are not being fed a healthy diet at home. They are getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And there has to be a net in some way that you flag that up early and you stop them being a patient, if you like, of the NHS at a later date because of their obesity problems. So, you know, she got a letter. The BMI thing, I think, is tricky because you can't apply one size fits all to every child.
You've got to have something you can gauge.
You've got to have something you can gauge by. And she had a letter, and they didn't say he should lose weight. It was just kind of like, he is in this percentile, keep an eye on it.
And picking up from that point, Jane, it's reported Sue Anderson from Serona, they're the people who carry out the checkups. She said each individual circumstance is different. The letter that you mentioned, therefore, tries to be factual in terms of the results and their potential implications, but doesn't indicate that the children should, does indicate that the children should not be encouraged to lose weight.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think you can link something like it was the parent that was told. The boy wouldn't necessarily even have to know.
He wouldn't know. Now he knows.
He wouldn't. Now he knows, and I think, you know, maybe mum has obviously history that makes her sort of have issues about weight. But you know, I think we've got to do something, and probably this is a way to do it at school. And in the 1950s, of course, children used to be lined up here. But
now, do you not remember?
But you look at how skinny those children are.
But that's the right weight.
But that's because they're not eating processed food. That's the sort of normal weight that you would have been in the 1950s. And we were all kind of lined up. Well, I wasn't quite alive in the 50s, but nearly. But you were lined up, you were weighed, and it was all sort of kept. And you know.
Well, that's the thing.
That's weight,
the thing.
Eyes,
that's the
whatever.
Thing. I remember standing shivering in my vest and pants, and the whole school got weighed, and the whole school had Nitinora, and nobody thought anything of it because there was loads of you. And I completely agree with Jane. This little boy wouldn't have had to know, right? If your child goes in and has the Nitinoras and everything and has the eye test, and you were to get back a letter saying, well, your child's got nits and the eyes, we're a little bit worried. We're a bit worried for the future of your child's eyes because there's a little something that's going wrong. Why are we so oversensitive? Because if you start to be overweight as a child, believe you me, it is a battle you will have your entire life.
Because we see it as a criticism of us as parents.
We take it personally, of course we do. As mums and dads, it's just, we want to do everything just right. And to say that our child is overweight is a slap in the face.
I'm a prime example.
We've got to think about, they're telling you that for your child's future health, just like eyes or anything else.
Like, in my case, obviously, I've got 5 children. They're all, like, different weights. Junior's the skinniest one, but they eat so much. Obviously, when people see Harvey, he's massive. I'm not going to lie, he is obese. He wears clothes bigger than Kieran. Obviously, he's got his problems. He's got Prada Willies and stuff, and we're constantly...
Well, Prada Willies, it just literally means that
Prada Willies basically wants to eat and eat and eat, and it affects our whole house because it affects his behaviour.
And just to explain, that doesn't mean that he's greedy. It just means that when you and I would think we're full up, he doesn't have that signal.
He doesn't have that, so we have to lock the kitchen. You know, we all sit down and eat together, but with Harvey, it's so difficult because he eats it so quick as if he hasn't eaten before. Then he sees all of us with food on our plate, then he wants it, and then the doctors are like, look, try and feed him healthy. We do, but he kicks off. So if we say you're having salmon and vegetables, no, mummy, and then it gets to a point sometimes, not that we're a feeder, but just to calm it down, we're like, OK, we'll make you some pasta. It's not that we're giving in, not all the time, but sometimes we have to pacify. I think anyone's heart
would go out to, because it's all a nightmare for all of us, isn't it, trying to get our kids to eat.
It is, but at least you're getting to explain it, what it is. But
I know
do
when
you
I'm
get
around
judged
Tesco,
by people when you're out and about?
Say if I'm at Tesco shopping And to get Harvey around, he always goes to get blueberry muffins, like 4 in a packet, and he holds them all the way around because he knows that in the car, if he's good, he can have a blueberry muffin. I know people probably look and go, don't you think he's fat enough as it is? Why are you even... I know they think it. Or, you know, if he wets himself, I know he's wet himself, I can see he has, but I have to get on with it. Yeah, I think people do judge me, but then when they see me with all the kids, they could probably clearly see that he's obviously got a problem.
But his problems are very particular as well, because his difficulties that he has, or his differences that he has, he's got Asperger's as well.
Yeah.
Do you
autistic?
Yeah.
But like with anyone who goes on a diet, we all know that healthy food probably doesn't taste as good as rubbish food. Unless you know, that's right, unless you know how to cook it properly. I haven't got a clue how to make real healthy food with the sauces and that, and I haven't got time to do that, to be honest. And Harvey's not silly. He knows that salmon and vegetables doesn't taste as good as carbonara. You know, he's not silly.
Oh, I don't know.
But when I go to the doctors, he listens to the doctors when they're like, so, Harvey, what are you going to eat? And he cons them now because he's clever. He's like, oh, Harvey, eat salmon and vegetables. And then we get out, Harvey wants carbonara, and then he kicks off. So I can't win.